the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips. And this is given me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. I had a friend, Nick Rockefeller, okay, who was one of the Rockefeller family. And he, when I was running for governor in Nevada, he came to me, introduced himself to me through an attorney. And we became friends. We started talking about things. And I learned an awful lot from Mr. Rockefeller. And one of the things that we used to talk about was the ultimate plan of the banking industry, what they wanted to accomplish. And the goals of the banking industry, not just the Federal Reserve System, but the private banks in Germany and England, all over Italy, all over the world, they all work together. They're all central banks. So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the amero, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is given me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do,
Everything is in there, you know? And so they want a one world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips, and they control people, and you become a slave, you become a serf to these people. That's their goal, that's their intentions. They do whatever they want to do. What we want doesn't matter anymore. It's their agenda, it's their plans that matter. They have all the money they want. They can make all the money they want. They have a machine that can make all the money. It's not about money. It's about control. It's about their vision of how they want to see the world. We're put on this earth to become the best individuals we can be, to fulfill our God-given potential, right? We're not here to put on this earth so the government can tell us how to live our lives and what we must do. We put into these systems and these paradigms. No, you know, be individuals, think for yourself, have critical thinking, you know. And so what's happened is that because they've taught everybody that we're a democracy, which is not true, now, so then in 1913, they bring the Federal Reserve System into being, right? And now you have this Federal Reserve System, which then in 1913 got the right to create money for the government. When before that, the government created its own money. Now the government, when it needed money, had to borrow it from this private bank called the Federal Reserve, which is a private bank owned by individuals, incorporated in Delaware. And so what happens is, now the government borrows money from them to fund the government. Then the government says, well, we have to pay these people interest. How are we going to pay them interest? Let's impose a tax on the labor of the American people, which never existed before, to pay the interest to the bankers. Is that through the implementation of the Federal Reserve System, the government has become vested in these bankers, and they get their money from the bankers. And so then they impose a tax on us, which makes us more slaves, makes it more difficult for us to survive, right? The American people are living in a matrix. They don't understand the truth of how things are working in this country. you know. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. The very fact is that if you ask 100 people on the street, what kind of government is America supposed to be? 99% of them will tell you a democracy. America is supposed to be a democracy. But that's a lie. That's an illusion. The word democracy is not written into the Constitution at one time. It's not in the Bill of Rights. It's not in the Declaration of Independence. The Founding Fathers hated the idea of a democracy. They thought it was the worst form of government there is. And I agree with them. Because in a democracy, 51% of the people control 49% of the people. If you're part of the 49%, you're not free. And that's the truth. America's not a democracy, but you ask the most intelligent people what form of government America is supposed to be, they'll say democracy. Because that's what they've been brainwashed. They've been psyoped into believing that. They believe that we're in Iraq. They believe we're in Iraq to promote democracy. The word democracy, you hear George Bush saying democracy means freedom. No, democracy equals New World Order. Democracy equals slavery. The word democracy is not synonymous with freedom. It's the opposite of freedom. Democracy is the worst form of government you can have because it's majority rule. And the government can tell you exactly what they want to tell you to do because the majority wants it. I don't care what the majority wants. I live my life as I choose. And if I don't commit violence, theft, or fraud against another human being, I can live my life as I wish. That's my choice. And if I'm allowed to make mistakes, because when you make mistakes, you learn from them. You grow as a human being. We used to talk and share ideas and thoughts. And he's the one who told me 11 months before 9/11 ever happened that there was going to be an event. Never told me what the event was going to be. But there was going to be an event. And out of that event, we were going to invade Afghanistan to run pipelines from the Caspian Sea. We were going to invade Iraq, you know, to take over the oil fields, establish a base in the Middle East, and make it all part of the New World Order. And we'd go after Chavez in Venezuela. And sure enough, later, 9/11 happened. And I remember he was telling me how you're going to see soldiers looking in caves for people in Afghanistan and Pakistan and all these places. And there's going to be this war on terror, which there's no real enemy, and the whole thing is a giant hoax, you know, but it's a way for the government to take over the American people.
He told you it was going to be a hoax.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no question. He says, there's going to be war on terror, and he's just laughing. There's no... Who are we fighting? I mean, why do you think 9/11 happened, and then nothing's happened since then? Do you think that our security is so great here that these people who pulled off 9/11 who were able to, can't knock down another plane? Come on, it's ridiculous. 9/11 was done by people in our own government and our own banking system to perpetuate the fear of the American people into subordinating themselves to anything the government wants them to do. That's what it's about, and to create this war, this endless war on terror. And that's why and that was the first lie. And the next lie was going into Iraq.
Attention, cet homme est porteur d'une puce électronique. Implantée dans le bras, elle lui permet d'avoir accès au carré VIP. Comme un produit de supermarché, les clients sont barcodés et la puce contient leur crédit consommation. Ainsi, dans cette boîte de Barcelone, il y a ceux un peu vieux jeux qui dansent encore avec un porte-monnaie et ceux qui n'en ont plus besoin. Légalisée depuis un an, cette greffe est même proposée à l'intérieur de la boîte contre 125 €. L'opération ne dure qu'une vingtaine de minutes. D'abord une petite anesthésie locale, ensuite la puce est greffée sous la peau et reliée à un compte personnel, un peu comme un compte bancaire.
Je ne sais pas pourquoi j'ai voulu faire ça. En fait, c'est peut-être parce que tout le monde l'a, et puis c'est pour savoir comment c'est juste pour ça.
Cette puce qui vient des États-Unis a obtenu un droit de commercialisation à condition de ne pas détenir d'informations médicales. Facile à implanter, n'importe qui peut donc s'improviser infirmière de boîte de nuit.
C'est plus facile que de faire un piercing. Et ceux qui font ça n'ont pas spécialement d'autorisation. Et de toute façon, je me sens capable de réagir en cas de problème.
Une centaine de consommateurs a déjà opté pour l'identification électronique. Un seul petit problème, pour se faire retirer la puce, il faut subir une intervention chirurgicale. C'est le même principe que pour les femmes qui se font implanter une pilule contraceptive. Au bout d'un an ou deux, il faut bien l'enlever pour en faire poser une autre. Reste le problème du pistage éventuel des clients, car la puce permet aussi de suivre un individu par satellite, ce qu'aucune législation n'interdit en Europe.
Qu'est-ce qu'on peut imaginer comme application dans le futur?
Vous avez à juste titre employé le mot traçabilité. C'est évident que l'essentiel des utilisations de cette technologie, au départ, porte sur la traçabilité. Tout ce que vous avez décrit, c'est la traçabilité, soit des objets, soit des personnes. Donc, tout ce qui va être de plus en plus nécessaire à suivre à distance, savoir ce qu'il devient, permettre de connaître l'évolution des produits, les localiser, optimiser les stocks, de façon à ce qu'on ait des stocks minimaux, faire en sorte qu'on sache en permanence où se trouvent ces objets, permettre d'intégrer des processus de production, permettre...
Oui, on parle d'un enjeu économique majeur dans la traçabilité des
réductions des coûts sont considérables. En termes de sécurité sanitaire, de pouvoir tracer l'origine des produits agricoles depuis leur conception jusqu'à leur consommation. Tout ça donne une traçabilité sur les objets absolument gigantesque, encore à venir. Sur les personnes aussi, on peut imaginer une traçabilité encore plus grande.
Parce que sur les objets, on connaît, mais sur les organismes vivants, que ce soit les animaux ou les êtres humains, qui pourront avoir une puce électronique implantée dans le corps. Mais
avant de parler de l'implantation des organismes vivants, il faut regarder tout ce qui va se passer aussi sur les moyens de paiement et sur la surveillance même dans la vie quotidienne de nos enfants ou de nos petits-enfants.